Okay, in the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Ayan. And finally, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and the hour of our death. In Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you, Lord, for being with us. Those are the standard prayers that everybody know, but throughout the day and the whole year, I'll be talking about this book that I use is a prayer book. The name of the book is Prayer Book. And in it, you can find a lot more prayers than you normally know. You should get one for each family member and use the prayers there until you get to know a lot more prayers than you usually know, because that is a good source of wealth. Asking the right question will allow you to get the right answer. If you only know Our Father, Hail Mary, then that's fine if you're happy with the results of those prayers. So this 2026, you're thinking about what you're going to do in this year, right? And we're going to start that way, right? So here are my suggestions. Maybe 5 of you listening here, watching here, will do it, and you'll be taking this to your heart. Whoever you are, you know who you are. Congratulations for listening and paying attention. Now, if you do take this advice, there are a lot of long-term benefits for your family. Number 1, inner peace. In any situation, if it's a great situation, it's a bad situation, it's a horrible situation, inner peace, I think. And the second thing is what people call happiness. The kind of happiness that is more than the kind of happiness you would get from ang galing naman ng stock investment ko. If it's something better than that, would you be interested in that? Yes, this is one of the big long-term benefits for your family, right? There's a lot more. We'll cover them. Suffice to know that if you have a lot of grace, and if your family has a lot of grace, would 2026 be more interesting to you? Would you be a person who's interested in that? That's the question. So the first thing you need to do is called detachment, which means you need to acknowledge that you are attached to so many physical things, brands, objects, material ideas, especially those ideas, no? That you need to let them go this 2026, because you're not going to bring these ideas anywhere when you die, okay? And these ideas, they actually introduce more problems than solutions. We will be talking about some of these ideas today, okay? As we move along. And if you're in the chat room live, please write a comment so I can see it and maybe I can answer it directly, okay? Wait lang, I can see the chat room from the YouTube lang. I'll turn on the chat room in YouTube so you can see it. Yeah, there you go. Hi, that's it. I can now see the chat room in YouTube. Keep going. All right. Hi. So some examples of attachment that you might say, that's okay. That's also fine. Teka lang. Ulitin natin at nasira yung aking ano. Okay. So some attachment would be, you say, I love getting a massage every week. I was like this, twice a week, 3 times a week. And I say, it heals me. I cannot live without it. This is called an attachment. This is just a very shallow example. I'm sure you can think about more. And that is a signal that you should let it go. So it's a material thing, like a massage. Let it go. Yes, you can get your massage every week, but you should not be saying this. Can't live without it, okay? It's extremely shallow to do that. At the same time, it is an opening for you to be attached to a material thing, which is not a good thing. Okay, number 2. I will go back to the attachment in a bit. There are many, many attachments in this world. And one of the biggest attachments you can find is this concept that I heard from my friend who is a Catholic. And she said, we're talking about something, and she said, biblical ba yan? Which means, is that thing that you're talking about, is that found in the Bible? Do people in the Bible do that? And the problem with that statement is because that question has stolen so many Christian practices from you and from your family. Because you have to understand that in the first 300 years of the apostles and the apostles of the apostles, the disciples of the apostles, the only Bible they had was the Old Testament. Which means to say, they were reading the Jewish Bible. Question for you. Are you a Jew? No. Should you be following the Jewish Bible? No. Right? The New Testament was compiled, written by the Catholics from the first 300. Around 300 or 400, it was finalized. So the statement of biblical ba yan is a modern concept. An attachment to things being always so biblical that you haven't figured out the computers aren't in the Bible, so you should probably stop using them. So do you understand the problem with that statement? An attachment to the statement is not a good thing because the apostles themselves, they don't refer to a biblical bayan when it comes to New Testament because they were still writing it. All right. Let's keep going. So what do you need to do? How are the ideas you need to rediscover when to replace this thing called biblical bayan, or is that in the Bible? Well, number one, to study the lives of saints, especially the saints that they are revealing to you today during Christmas season. It's still Christmas season, by the way. There's Saint Stephen, Saint Basil, the three magi, or the wise men, the magi, not the three. There's three gifts, but the magi. The stories in the Bible, especially during Christmas season, pay attention to them. Usually the priest would explain to them. To you guys, when you attend Mass, you read the actual Bible verses, you discuss it with your children, because these are some saints. However, these saints aren't just the only saints there are. Like I did mention Saint Basil and Saint Gregory the Great, who made the Gregorian calendar, the one we're using right now. They are also saints that you need to study the lives of, because there is another attachment to this idea that if the saint is a saint, it has to be a saint from the Old Testament, New Testament, which is wrong because it's not true. When you have a saint, it could be somebody from after the New Testament up to today. Okay, the World War II saints, the Maximilian Kolbes of the world. These are saints that are worth your time to study. It's not just Saint Paul. A lot of our brothers who are not Catholic, they only and mainly focus on what Saint Paul said, which is pretty sad because they have ignored Saint Peter and all the other saints after that, Saint Ignatius, Saint Polycarp, who was the apostle of John, Saint John, and all the other saints like Saint Thomas Aquinas. There are way too many saints who have lived and died holy lives after the apostles. It's not just all Bible bayan. That's a Bible bayan. And when it comes to being smart, there's always this policy that I hold that 1,000,000 people put together is smarter than one person. Is that true? Right? So if you have 1,000,000 saints, let's say 20,000 saints, compared to the few saints in the Bible, probably about 500 saints. 20,000 saints versus 500 saints. How many smart people, where would you go? The correct answer is I would listen to the 500 saints of the Bible and the 20,000 saints who are not in the Bible. Okay, like Saint Faustina, like Saint Therese of Lisieux, or somebody as famous as Saint Dominic. I would listen to all of them. If you're in the chat room, type in all. Why? Because it's so wise to listen to many wise people. Yes? Instead of just, okay, the 500 saints in the Bible, specifically just Saint Paul. It's very limiting. Okay, let's proceed. So, promise to yourself, this is 2026 resolution, you will study the saints. You will get yourself books on the saints, and you will not be afraid of them. That might be hard to understand. Not really. We will end with the reason why we'll be able to understand books like this, and it's mainly gifts from God. This is why you'll be able to understand gifts like this, books like this, because God will give you the grace. Type in the chat room G for grace to understand and to appreciate these books. You're given a book and you say, oh, Jamar, I got nothing from this book. Sorry. Then God has not given you the grace to understand it yet. So I'm so sorry. But if you understand English, you can understand it. All right, let's proceed. The next part after that thing that restricts you, the Bible alone idea, is number 3. You need to do this because this is for the benefit of your family, your spouse, your children. You need to assign multiple no electric devices certain days, such as Sunday, and certain evenings inside your household. This is an idea. Why is that? Because right now, I bet you have no days assigned for non-electronic things. Everybody hits their electronics every day. They watch TV, they go screens, computer, or even they play music, which is electronic. When I say play music, I mean listen to music, not really play piano or guitar. Now, you need to assign ahead of the family no electronics on Thursday nights, Tuesday nights, and no electronics in the whole of Sunday. But Daddy, I have to do my class exercises, assignments on Sunday. No, you're going to do them on Saturday. And you're going to set aside that Sunday for things I tell you to do. What are those things? Things like, okay, let's read the Bible together. Let's play some games. Let's go outside and create boomerangs and throw them around. Let's fly a kite. Let's play marbles, Jolene. Let's make some candles. I look in the internet, it's really hard to make candles. You think it's easy. Do stuff that you cannot do with electronics, so that when the kids grow up, they have a varied set of skills that they can use when there's no electricity. And you will solve one problem that we're going to discuss a little bit more later. All right? Now, So no electric devices, even TV, don't watch them. So you can get to face each other or face a book on a weekly basis. Yeah, there are so many books you need to read, and I don't mean holy books. I also mean a lot of helpful books for your life. Just a moment. All right, facing each other, looking at each other face to face, and assigning books to your family members. What we do is we order books, we put them on tables, especially the books are good. When I say books are good, personal development books that are not against the church, like a book that is personal development, which is against the church, would be The Subtle Something Something of F Word. That's a bad book. And another one is The Let Them Theory, which is another bad book, which is #1 in bestseller list ngayon. There are other self-help books like Teenagers Listening to Parents, Parents Listening to Teenagers, and stuff like that. I also got comics of Catholic saints, comics literally. And yeah, if you don't and you cannot buy books, so you just download them on the internet, which is what I do. Okay, I do download books legally from the internet, especially the Catholic books. They're all there. They're free. Okay, and it's legal. So this gives you the opportunity to look at the face of your family members as they grow older every day. So start it this 2026 and be consistent and enforce it, because your children, your spouse, your family members are going to insist on using their devices all the time, which will reveal that they are really addicted, which is really sad. If somebody's going to complain to you, especially kids, say, "This is boring. I don't like Sundays. It's so boring." And if it's heard very often, it means you have underdeveloped your children's imagination. They don't know what to do when there's no electricity, which is sad. You need to hit the internet, okay, get books and figure out what kind of board games to play with them. They're going to refuse. Just go ahead and play with them and they will enjoy it, and they will say, without telling you, "Oh, this game of the generals is so funny pala. I'd like to play again. Good thing mommy and daddy." They'll never tell you that you forced me to play this game. It's really nice. I'm going to share it to my friends. But of course, at first they'll say, "No, I don't want to do that. I just want to sit here and sleep." No, you as a parent on a Sunday, you are the person to bring them to church, and at the same time, you are the person to give them activities without electricity. All right, it gets rid of that addiction of, "I would like to buy some skins." You know what I mean? Anyway, now next one is, life was not boring before electricity. It was just laziness of the imagination. Things like pretend cooking. When you were younger, you were playing pretend cooking, and nobody was saying you're a boring person. You were doing pretend robots, pretend armies fighting each other, playing hide and seek. This is not boring. Okay. Pursuing a non-digital hobby like coloring books, yes, go for it. Do it. Okay. Rediscover this for the sake of your children. You don't have a lot of time. Once they hit late teens, they'll probably not join you anyway because they're old enough to resist you. So start very early. Okay. So why do that? Because the maturity of your family's attitude, EQ, intelligence quotient, emotional quotient, and relationships, they will improve because of this non-screen, non-electricity based activities. So make sure you do these at least 3 times, 2 times a week. Now, the next habit that we have not introduced into our life is introducing multiple prayer habits at home. Okay, prayer allows you to get closer to God, which allows you to get closer to graces, gracia. Everybody's asking for blessings, but very few people would love to do the activities that make blessings possible. Okay, do you want to know what activities these are that allows blessings to come into your life? Is it donating to church? No. Is it doing stuff? We probably think it's all about donating to church. Actually, no. None of these activities I'm going to share you has something to do with sending money to the church. No. It's more than that. Okay? And most of these activities are free to do, right? So if the accusation is, "Oh, you're selling indulgences and stuff like that thing no longer holds. Okay? What happens is you need to introduce, number one, multiple prayer habits at home. Here's the mindset. You introduce these habits to the point of interrupting your life. Yeah, and I'm not kidding. Here's the mindset. So how many of you would like to be with like a ultimate happiness, the source of life, Jesus, when you die? After you die, do you want to be spending your time, whatever that means, after death, with the ultimate creator, the eternal source of happiness, your creator? And normally the answer is yes, I would like to spend more time with my creator. So what should you be doing here on earth? Should you be spending most of your time trying to ignore talking to the Creator, or should you get to know the Creator and practice talking to Him while you're here? Do you want to get used to your Creator so when you hear Him, during prayer, while you're walking, looking at trees, you'll recognize it? And this is why we need multiple prayer. Like, number one, daily group or family rosary. That's daily and one. That's number one. Number two would be your solo rosary. When you're not with your family or after you do the daily rosary, you can do solo rosary. Now, you might say, oh, that's too much. There's 2 rosaries a day. You have saints like John Vianney and saints like Padre Pio who would do multiple rosaries a day. Now, I have an idea how they do it because John Vianney does 36 or 26 rosaries a day. And I don't know how many this Pio does, but and the source of all this rosary is Saint Dominic. I bet he does more than 1 rosary a day. Now, you might say that's too much. I won't be able to accomplish anything if I just pray the rosary a day. The thing is, this guy here, he spends like 16 to 18 hours, maybe 20 hours of confession. He doesn't confess. People confess to him a day. So while he's in confession, he's praying the rosary. So he has a skill, maybe a grace, to be able to continuously pray while listening and giving advice in the confessional. That's the insight there. That's why you study saints' lives. So how do you insert a rosary in your daily life? Just do the rosary while you're doing something else, which is the solo rosary. Group rosary is different. Don't do group rosary while you're like doing something else, right? Do it for solo rosary. So that's 2 rosaries a day if you can pull it off. I'm just giving you suggestions. Another one would be certain things like the Divine Mercy Chaplet, the usual 3 o'clock. We do this at 12. Another one would be personal spiritual reading of very, very good books like this guy here, Alfonso Stogori. Really hard to spell name, and I cannot say his name. It's really hard, but his works are fabulous. I mean, if God opens your eyes and your brains to what you're missing, you'd understand his work. It's really good. It's so good, I'm reading 2 of his books at the same time. Okay, 2 of his books. And so you can also do group Bible study, which we do on Sundays. We haven't been doing it for the last few weeks, but we will resume this week. Okay, we do 10 chapters a week. You can do 1 chapter a week. You've probably finished in 10 years. We're going to finish in about 2.5 years. Another one is listening to Saint Story podcasts, which means you open up your podcast app in your TV. You have a podcast app in the TV. It's called Spotify, yes? And you go to the podcast part of Spotify. It's all free. And you select the Saints Alive, the Saint Podcast. These are Catholic productions, drama of the lives of saints. When I say drama, there's like sound effects, there's some music, there's acting. So it's like going back to the old 1920, 1930 life of they're listening to a drama and then just sitting, looking at each other or blankly staring somewhere while listening to the drama. And you can relive that kind of life that they had in the past. It's electronic, to be sure, but these are activities you can do on Sunday that they don't have to look at the screen because nothing's happening on the screen. You're just listening to the TV. Or maybe you turn on a speaker and play these podcasts of Saint Lives. Of course, there's a lot of Saint Live stuff inside YouTube as well, but they're mostly cartoons and there's like 2 minutes, too short to give you any depth, too short. We also were able to listen to, I think, a 2-hour drama. We have to stretch it to several days of the life of Saint Patrick. So this way, if you ask me about Saint Patrick, oh yeah, I know what he did when he was told to walk into fire, something like that. And it goes deeper into your faith because now you are listening to historical figures, real people. The whole Ireland and United States, they celebrate St. Patrick's Day. They're not even Catholic, but they celebrate it because he's like the patron saint of Ireland and his story is so fantastic. So that's an example of what you can do on Sundays and most days, okay? Now, my personal favorite is washing dishes with saints. So before I start washing dishes, which takes about 30 minutes, because I wash everything, including pots and the stove and the walls. So I would ask my son to play a saint story, or I would ask him to play a conversion story from EWTN, somebody who's converted from, let's say, Protestant, Mormon, has become Catholic. Ask them to play it, and then I won't watch. I'll wash dishes, and I'll listen. They're also listening because it's TV, but it's primarily for me. So it's not on headphones. It's a bit loud, so everybody in the living room can hear the story. And this is how you actually convert non-Catholic or non-practicing Catholics in your house by playing this stuff a bit loud because you're listening to it while washing dishes or doing chores. You don't play it for them. You play it for you. So they get influenced. This specifically is for kids. Hopefully, they not buy them earphones that they use every day because they will never hear this stuff. Okay, so get rid of the earphones. Let's say no electronics, no earphones on Thursday night, Tuesday night, and whole Sunday you'll have to listen to whatever I play. That's an example of what you can do while you wash dishes and do chores. Okay, number 5, social media envy has cost you so much of your brain. You feel bad. Whatever blessings you have, you don't care because everybody else has better blessings than you. Yep. So you need to think differently. You attach to your threads, reels, shorts. Are you attached to? Can you tell me in the chat? Are you guys attached to your threads, reels, shorts, etc.? So much that you get it for you open it for entertainment. You say. Not only that, you open the shorts because it's your happy time. Yeah, you become happy because they're so funny. But at the same time, you scroll and then you see these. Oh, look at them! They're in Hawaii. They're in Europe and stuff like that, and you feel so bad, right? It's envy. It's envy. So how do you get rid of this attachment to envy? Here's how. You start studying the following. I'm going to give you the answers while I tell you. No, why did Jesus not appear just like Adam? If you recall from the Christmas story, he's a baby, but Adam was not a baby. Did you notice that? Adam was created like an adult male. See, Jesus, when he came to the earth, why didn't he do the Adam route? In fact, why a fully grown man and why like not Eve, who's also a fully grown woman? Interesting, right? Why not Eve? Like Eve, a fully grown woman. So God did it 2 times. Grown man, but instead, Jesus had to choose the baby route. Why? Why baby route? Never thought about that. Now, I will answer it, okay? And here's the answer. Oh, sorry. I moved it too close. Teka lang ha. Wala ata akong ginawang back. Yeah, I didn't put any back. So I'll just answer why did he take the baby route. The answer is, any takers for my answers? Do you know the answer why become a baby? Because God had to go lower than normal. He had to show humility. Can you type that in? Humility. He needs to be humble, lower than what you would expect. So a fully adult male is not low. Fully adult female is not low. A baby is low. Lower than that would be a baby in a manger, which is an animal feeding trough. And poor. Born to a poor family and is not even born in his own town because they just got there for the census, right? And the situation of the Christmas birth was so low that the king wanted to kill him. So it's not just a poor baby boy. He also is wanted by the king to be killed by soldiers. Okay? And not only that, he had to be chased out of the town because the king would continuously do that for the next 2 years to try to kill all the kids less than 2 years old. So they had to leave and become an exile baby boy who's poor. That's all of those ideas. You should be thinking about, what is God trying to tell me? Why did he come, as powerful as he is, into that kind of package? Now, here's the next question. Why pick a Roman crucifixion to suffer and die? Why that? Ever think about that? Now, this is related directly to the first question. Was God the Father bloodthirsty and he wanted a lot of suffering from Jesus, as the atheists claim? Okay? So, is that the answer? Well, the reason for that is, as the poor baby, going as humble as possible, what could be the next humble thing when he becomes big or adult? Well, you turn him into an accused criminal, kill him publicly in the most brutal way possible, especially during that time, which is the Roman crucifixion, which includes whipping, public display. He did not have clothes, and carrying of the cross and crucifixion. Because that is lower than a poor baby boy. Again, humility. Do you understand me? This is your attitude to your social media envy. God did not go as high as he can because that's where he's from. He went as low as he can for us. Okay? It's also said that he went through life, a toddler, a young boy, a teenager, a young man, because every part of your life matters. You don't start to matter because you're 33 or you have arrived or become a successful person. You got your own car, you have your own house. That's not the things that matter. Your whole life matters. they use the word, it can be sanctified. It can be made holy your whole life. You don't have to wait for a certain part, a certain year, I'll be very successful. It will all matter. No, your everyday matters. Okay? Now, here's another one. Something for your brain. Again, it's still Christmas. If Abraham, who attempted to offer to kill Isaac, remember the Bible story? As ordered by God. No, you offer Isaac, he will be the lamb. Was rewarded with a worldwide kingdom of descendants. This is the promise to him. He will have a son, and then his descendants will number more than the sand and the stars. So the test was, okay, you offer Isaac, who's supposed to be the source of all your descendants, to me. And then he was about to kill Isaac. An angel stopped him, and he offered a ram instead. Now, Abraham, human being, sinful for sure, because there was no indication that this guy is sinless. Or like in the Bible, you have the account of Enoch. If you read your Bible, Enoch was hinted at to be sinless. If you pay attention to your Bible, the description was he walked with God. And he was taken by God and disappeared, did not die. That was Enoch. Now, a lot of our brothers ignore that verse, but I'm just telling you, I didn't. Okay? So Abraham was given this reward, worldwide kingdom of descendants, etc. There's three of his promises. Now, if he, who was going to offer his son as ordered by God, he was rewarded by that, why would Mary, who offered her son, remember Mary's son? She was offering her son to God. She didn't stop God from the crucifixion. He didn't say like the Peters, no, Jesus, if they will kill you, they will parang over my dead body. But no, Mary was just cried there quietly at the foot of the cross, did not run away, and offered her son. In fact, she knows that, especially during the time of offering her son to Simeon during another Christmas event, presentation at the temple. No? Now, Simeon gave her a prophecy, a knife. Was that a sword will pierce your heart? That's why you have Our Lady of Sorrows statues. There's a sword, actually 7 swords, I think, pierce her heart. And why would Abraham have reward? That's what you're looking for in life, right? You're looking for reward for your efforts. Abraham did the right thing, got reward, but seemingly Mary got nothing. Did you notice that? It looks like Mary got nothing after offering her son for redemption of the world, and she got, well, disrespect from a lot of people. So is that true though? After fulfilling what Abraham did to Isaac, fulfilling it, doing the version of the New Testament for that, did Mary really, was she supposed to get absolutely zero? And it was Abraham who got like the whole Israel, that's his descendant. Is that true? But Jomar, it's in the Bible, and the Catholics do it, that all generations will call me blessed. Maybe that's the reward for Mary, right? Correct. Which is true. All generations will call me blessed. And this is what us Catholics do. As fulfillment to the Magnificat, which says that we will call her blessed. But is really that the only reward she had? Or maybe everybody is missing Revelations 12, which is an account of a woman with a crown, and she was, the moon and the stars were around her, behind her, and she gave birth to a son. And the son was to rule the world, to rule everything with a rod of iron. And there's no guess. That son is taken up to heaven. Who's that son? And who's that woman who gave birth to the son? That's Mary. This is why the Catholics call Mary the Queen of Heaven, because if you read Revelations 12, she is the queen who gave birth to the king, who was born, ruled the world with an iron rod, and then went up to heaven. Some people say, oh, no, that's not Mary, that's Israel who gave birth to Jesus. No, Israel did not give birth to Jesus. Israel is Jacob. He's a man. Okay? And even if you say, oh, the nation Israel gave birth to Jesus, actually they killed him. Okay? They did. Now, technically, you have a woman in the Bible wearing a crown of 12 stars. That would be Mary, because she gave birth to the boy, to the man, okay, to the king. So that's why the Catholics call it pretty plainly the Queen of Heaven, because in that scene in Revelations 12, it was in heaven. And a woman with a crown is called a queen, all right? So Mary got the queenship of heaven, according to Revelations 12. She was not rewarded with something. In fact, she is the vessel, which is our brothers call, she is only a vessel, like a container. She's not a container. Otherwise, you'll be calling the container the Queen of Heaven in Revelations 12. She is the means wherein we get the grace of Jesus Christ. This is technically, factually true, that if she did not say yes during the visitation of the angel, we would not have God today as Jesus, right? And the conclusion, the theoretical conclusion of, oh, if Mary said no, God would have picked someone else. That someone else would have been Mary. The same. All right, let's keep moving. I hope you're learning something from this one. I hope you are. Okay. Now, let's talk about your husband or your son or your daughter or your spouse. And he says, I'm going to ignore Mary because those crazy Catholics in Baclaran, in Quiapo, they're worshiping her. So I'm not going to do that. I will bring balance, says your spouse. Instead of doing what the Catholics do, I will ignore the mother of Jesus. After all, she's just a water jug that contains the water of life. I'm not going to worship a water jug. We're getting closer to why this entire thing is about grace. Guess where the graces are coming from? I already told you the answer. Okay? Now, if your husband says he does this, then he is pretending to be Anakin Skywalker, who is the chosen one who will bring balance to the Force. By ignoring Mary, he's balancing all these crazy Catholics. The reality is, whatever he does, it doesn't balance anything. Because if he thinks, oh, the rosary is idolatry, so if he doesn't do any rosary, it doesn't mean it balances off anything. It's really just an excuse. Because he thinks Mary is only for women. Grabe. Been talking too long, no? So, final question. This is a quiz. I'll give you the answer. John 3:16. Everybody knows what this is. Even those who don't know the Bible know what this is. It applies to two people. Can you guess who the two people are? It says, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. That's John 3:16. But it also applies when you have a son, you have a parent. There are two parents in every son, yeah? So if God so loved the world, the Father, it also applies to the mother of the son. And this is something to think about. I did not make this. This idea was from Saint Bonaventure. Okay? Mary so loved the world that she gave her only begotten son. True or false? Is it true? Is that Mary's son? Yes. Did she give him to be crucified for the world? Yes. Is she the only begotten son? Yes. Okay, now that you've seen that, let's move on. After going through all of that, acknowledge that a lot of us are too baby in the faith. And acknowledge that you plan to do better this year, even if your promise to yourself is something like this. What he's saying is not true. It's all lies. Then go ahead, use the entire year to prove me to be totally wrong. Because this is not from me. I just got this from the saints. Okay? And I got this from the Bible. I got it from the Bible book. I bought Bible study books. Super thick. I'll show you. Super thick Bible footnotes. Here. You read the Bible, and then you read the footnotes. It's a Catholic Bible. This is the Bible. These are the footnotes. And that's just the beginning. Then you have to read some study books on the Bible. And this is why I know this stuff. But that's not the real reason. You know why I know this stuff? Because I was given grace to understand. And that's not something that means I'm smart. It means I've just given something. And all you have to do is ask for that grace. So how do you get these graces? One thing is be discerning to who you're listening to. I'm talking to everyone. There's a preacher in front of you, a popular, good-looking priest, say. And there's a homily. It's about Mary. There's a mass and readings about Mary. And all of a sudden, he doesn't talk about Mary. And every year you listen to him, every month you listen to him. If the reading is about Mary, he just ignores Mary and talks about moms. He ignores Mary and talks about the mom of Pocahontas or the mom of some Marvel character, the mom of Superman. Doesn't talk about Mary. There's something, I'm talking about priests and preachers. Warning on your preachers. Okay. This week is the Seek, SEEK 2026. This is a massive 16,000 person Catholic conference happening in the United States. I think they're in Dallas, Texas. I'm not sure. And I listened to some of the talks, and they're basically shallow. Sorry. These are Catholic celebrities doing talks. They could do better, really. They could really do better. They're pretty shallow teachings. They're like okay homilies, not something you would deliver in front of 16,000 people. I think you should have gone more deeper. And when it comes to priests, there's something you need to understand about priests, no? Your priests and your preachers, especially Catholic ones, must have a close relationship with Mary, because this is something we don't know, okay? Because when you become a priest, you become detached from your original family. Do you know that? When you become a nun, you're detached from your original family and you join the family of preachers or family of teacher priests, or join the family of sisters or nuns. When you're detached, they are your family now. And guess who your brother is? Jesus. Guess who your father is? God. Who is your mother? Mary. If you have a priest without no relationship with Mary, you would know it. Let's say the topic is the Magnificat, the prayer of Mary. He doesn't discuss it. He doesn't dissect it. He talks about everything except Mary. That's it. He's got a very underdeveloped relationship with the Mother of God. You have a motherless priest, a motherless preacher, which is kind of dangerous because he doesn't know Mary. He's not going to teach you anything about the source of your graces. Remember why? Because Jesus came from her. And then you're going to say, technically, she came from God. Yeah, but God did not create Jesus like Adam. Remember that? Technically, Adam came from God. Does Adam have a mother? Nope. See, where did Eve come from? From the rib of Adam. Technically, no mother as well. But God had to use Adam to create Eve. Same as, well, actually, it's not the same. It's just related. That Mary had to be there, but it has to be 9 months of gestation and 30 plus years of raising the kid, which is not a small thing. You understand? God did not just use like a water jug to create a human being. Mary and Joseph had to raise him, not just to give birth. And then, oh, Jesus, 1-year-old doesn't need milk. Of course not. All right, let's keep going. So it matters so much because question, who on the planet has the closest relationship with the Virgin Mary? Do you know the answer? Closest in the entire planet. Let me give you a hint. He led 12 disciples to change the world. The guy with the closest relationship to the Virgin Mary. And he also started the Catholic priesthood. Okay? Get it? When a priest becomes a priest, their new mother is Our Lady. That's what we call her. And so, if they ignore their mother, the priests or the preachers, then what does that mean? Very undeveloped relationship with their Holy Mother, which means kind of SUS for me, because you want to learn how to get more graces, yes? And the most important thing you have to understand is to get more graces, you want to be like Jesus. You want to be like Joseph. You want to be like Saint Paul. All of them try to imitate Jesus. Okay? And the closest person on the planet to Jesus, especially when he was growing up, 33 years, is Mary. So if you get attached to anything else, any material things, it instantly makes you unlike the apostles that you like, the saints that you follow. You should just only attach yourself to God, to his mom, Jesus. That's it. Let's go. So when you talk about graces, you might be thinking, oh, it's all blessing. That's true, no? But if you look at the life of Jesus and the Virgin Mary, it's a ton of suffering. Maybe all the silver bells and the carol of the bells, we have forgotten the escape to Egypt, the killing of the innocents, all that stuff, right? Giving birth in a strange town, in a cave. It's personal suffering. And this is what the pursuit of holiness looks like. Which I want to be like Jesus, I want to be like his mom, I want to be a Christian, I want to be a follower of Christ. You need to understand, to be a follower of Christ and to obtain all the graces is to do this. Experience personal suffering So we understand what the pursuit of holiness looks like. It's the easiest version would be, I'm going to take your favorite. This is not a favorite, this is St. Peter. Is this body needs to burn, quote unquote. This body needs to be destroyed so that God is glorified. That's not easy to understand. Let's throw that away. So technically, it's correct. Not easy to understand. Let me just read from you. If you're experiencing some money suffering, you need to detach that from that, because the mindset you're using is called, I want to be rich to bless more people. This is a very, very suspicious mindset. Do you know why? I want to be rich because if I'm rich, I can bless more people. The reality is, if you want to really bless more people, you do not need money. You just do it. Whatever you have today, just go ahead and bless more people today. In the age of the internet, you do not need to be rich to reach more people, to bless more people. You actually do need this one thing, imagination. And when I was studying about money earlier, the rich, they say this concept, which is to change the world, to get more money in the process, you just activate your imagination. And somebody told me, give me a concrete example of that. Simple. You go to the internet and you go to this website of a very semi-famous influencer, let's say. He's a Catholic influencer. You like this person. You send an email to this person. You just say, hey, I noticed your last video had 10,000 views and the previous videos had 35,000. And I know you must be so busy. What can I do to help you to reach more people? That's it. That's it. So how many people like that should you reach? 100. In 1 month, you should probably reach 100 people like that saying exactly the same thing. It doesn't matter what race they're from. As long as you can send an email to them and say, hey, what can I do to help you? I want to reach more people with you. I want you, your YouTube ministry, let's say, I want you to flourish. What can I do to help you? And he's going to say, I don't have any money to pay you. It's okay. Tell me what I can do to help you. You don't have to think about money. And that's what I say, imagination. How much money did you use to do that? Some of them will pay you. Some of them will pay you. Maybe the whole lot of them will not pay you anything. But you have just blessed the world through these influencers platform by helping them behind the scenes, which is what I did. Starting 2007, behind the scenes, up to 2017, I was behind the scenes in a Catholic influencer's social media and website for 10 years. Yeah? Imagination. Yes, he did pay me, but really, really small amount, which I gave to his VAs. So I didn't really earn anything from that. Okay? So, how about health suffering, Jomar? So, what we're gonna do? This is 2026. It's a new year. You think about becoming thinner, the best form, your best mental health. I want to live till 100, which is typically the goal of rich people today, because they don't want to let go of their wealth, so they want to keep being alive, which is not a bad thing, but their obsession for health is a bad thing. I want to look younger, I want to feel younger, all this stuff. This is called attachments to your body. This is the opposite of what the saints do. Let me show you. All the apostles, they went the opposite direction. Okay? They said, I will exhaust my life for God. Yeah, that's when I say burn this body. I don't mean that. Literally, I mean, you end the day tired because you have served God in your way. Of course, I don't mean I'll become a preacher. Just serve God in your way. Like you do 20 rosaries a day, 10 rosaries a day. That's one way. You serve the poor directly. That's one way. Just exhaust your life for God. And I know you're going to say, I can't do that. So for, let's say, 20 years, you keep saying to God, I can't do that, I can't serve you, I'm too busy, worries of the world, right? So when you do that, what does happen to you at the end of your life? Near the end of your life, God will have mercy on you, and He will send you illness. How can that be mercy if He's going to make me sick? Well, when you are ill, you're going to, at one point, shout to God, help me! I want to be well. Please help me. To the desperation, He gives you even worse illnesses. So desperate to call unto Him. That's what He wants you to do. He wants you to call unto Him. That's why I said, add more prayer in your life so it interrupts your life. The more you put prayer into your life, the more you get to know God, the more He gives you graces as early as you can. Do not wait for this thing to happen, because it always happens to a lot of people, especially if they're wealthy. Because they want to keep their life. God will just say, okay, I will allow you to have cancer because, hello, you're ignoring me for 50 years. It's time you don't ignore me. This is mercy. Okay? He's being merciful to you, because when you say, God, I'm gonna let go of everything, just heal me. This is what He wants. But He doesn't want you to wait for the last day of your life to do that. He wants you to do it today. So He doesn't have to give you this. But however, if there's a lot of trusting saints who are given both exposure to God early, they respond to God early, but they're also given illnesses. But that's because they understand suffering, and it is a gift. Saint Francis of Assisi was slapped in his face. Saint Francis, no, he was slapped because he said something about God. He said, "I am honored that you have made me deserving to be like my Lord, who was ridiculed and suffered for being God, for being himself." So suffering for the sake of Jesus, that's a concept that many people should be able to understand, but have not, because too little time spending with God, too little time understanding what suffering is or what the saints say about suffering. So this is why we watch the shows of the saints, we read the books of the saints, we read the Bible, we study it, because in there would be the secrets of suffering, which we don't understand yet. Suffering is not bad. It is actually good, provided you understand what God is doing with it. Okay? So, material suffering. Most of us are suffering because we are attached to these so many things. Streaming music, streaming shows, streaming movies, all these streaming everything. And it's just teaching you how to suffer in the wrong way. Somebody's daughter is kidnapped. He revenges and kills everyone. Vengeance. He doesn't have a right to vengeance, but he just does it anyway. All the media that we have, I won't go deep into this, is an attachment to the wrong things. Even the Christmas songs have zero meaning in Christmas. Did you notice that? No? You have mentions of Christmas, like last Christmas, has nothing to do with Christmas, only there's heartbreak. Okay? How do you detach from the pull of these things? Well, you use grace. And grace is something God gives you, and you need to continually ask. And there are many ways to access grace, though most families lack it. It is grace that allows you to succeed and to overcome the many good things you want in this life. However, we spend very little time obtaining grace, asking for grace, talking to the source of grace. You might say, oh, that's God, that's Jesus. So Mary's role is actually part of that, because if not for her, yes, we would not have Jesus. Try to understand that, okay? And do not turn her into an object that God used. She's a person. Now, here's an example of grace. Let's say you don't want humility, you're very proud, like me. You admit that you're really smart and stuff like that to yourself. Well, maybe it comes out to other people. But somehow, there was a broken relationship in your life, and you solve it. You say sorry. You didn't know why. You just said sorry. You normally don't. All of a sudden, you can forgive this person, and you don't know why and how. It's called grace. Okay? Now, why did that happen? Because somebody prayed for you, or God/Mary gave it to you out of mercy. Naawa sila sa'yo. That's why they gave you the grace to forgive. Okay? I'm going to skip this part because these are just songs, suspicious songs about Christmas. There's tons of songs that if you listen in the radio, this has the word Christmas. That's nothing to do with Christmas. It's still Christmas, by the way. Some examples that I found would be Santa Baby, which is nothing to do with Christmas, just flirting and greed. Okay? Deck the House is just decorate the room. Okay? Frosty the Snowman is about snowman. And Let It Snow is about being romantic. And It's Beginning to Look like Christmas is about looks only. And All I Want for Christmas is You. It's just desire. It has nothing to do with Christmas. Okay? Without going deeper into this extremely long list, every show that I found in YouTube, Netflix, or Prime Video, or Disney Plus, they are generally, especially the Christmas ones, romance, zero Christmas, zero nativity stories, that you would wonder, why am I watching this stuff? It's wasting my time, teaching me the wrong values, most of it. Like what is that popular show in Netflix? Demon Hunters. You think they would hunt the demons down instead of like copying them, and the demons are good looking. Almost trying to tell you that demons are actually pop stars. In a way, it's true, but in a way, it glamorizes the demons, which is something I don't think Jesus would want. That is the end of today's presentation. That's prepared. Actually, there's more. I haven't gone through all of this stuff that I prepared tonight. I don't have slides for them. But I'd like to open the door for questions. I've been talking for an hour. And if you have questions, specifically what to do for 2026, I'm all for it. Before I go there, let me announce to you the next meeting is probably Monday again next week. And the topic for Monday is AI is going to get rid of your job, and the job of your spouse, and the job that your kids will want to have. They're investing so much money just to get rid of your jobs. Well, I'm talking specifically to people with jobs. What are you going to do about it? Top companies of the world are not going to stop until they got rid of your jobs. So you should be concerned, especially if you have children getting a job in the future. How are you going to do? How are you going to present that to them? How are you going to prepare them so that they'll come up with, Mommy, Daddy, 3 years na ako, wala pa akong trabaho. So that's the next meeting on next Monday. But today is all about 2026. Okay? So what would be the first thing or only thing you will do or you will follow coming out of this session? What are you going to do? Almost every piece of advice I gave to you is an access to grace. It's accessing grace. Removing time from wrong things, wrong songs, wrong shows, and putting those time to prayer, the study of God, study of the Word, study of the saints' lives, to these kinds of podcasts. These are all access to grace. On top of Mass, okay, on top of confession, wala nang Jubilee year. So wala ka na makukuha grace sa Jubilee year na indulgences. Ibang indulgences gagawin mo. Yeah. Okay, so also I'm going to, there's a lot more of this stuff, like a lot more practical stuff. That has nothing to do with 2026 preparation, but something you can do every day. So I'll probably come up with another show if you like this one. You have to type in if you want to respond, okay? So maybe spend 1 minute after now during the show and tell yourself, write down what are you going to resolve to do in your family, especially if you did not raise your kids the right way and they don't know God and they don't go to Mass by themselves and they're adults or they're like excited to go out of Mass that they leave after communion. They don't get the final blessing. Oh, I'll be back while you write down stuff. I need to talk about stress. Okay? God bless. I'll see you later. 1 minute, write down what is it. You go. Just talk about stress. Okay. Okay. Something practical before I go. You guys okay? Announcement, guys. This is, I'm going to let you guys have this. So this is an announcement for this brand new thing I have. So you can't buy it yet. So I'm going to give you 6 training videos. This is going to happen on the last Saturday, January to June, first 6 months of the year. So this is all about what we're talking about here, graces, and of course, affiliate marketing, or what you call, let's earn money from the internet. So this is based on my latest book, Second Incomes. And it can also crisscross with the other book, Virtual Careers. But bottom line, these are brand new trainings that we will learn for the next 6 months from January to June. Sorry, last Saturday. And I'm inviting you to get it. And if you get it, you get the prayer book shipped to your house. Obviously, you have to be in the Philippines so I can ship it. If you're in another country, you'll have to shoulder the shipping costs. But it comes with the prayer book and the 6 training videos. I'm just announcing it, but you can't get it yet because I'm not ready to let you have it yet. Again, the training is going to start on last Saturday of January and then up to every last Saturday about 8 in the evening until June. It's going to be very affordable, but it will teach you both what's in the prayer book, grace, and make money from the internet, with or without AI. It depends. Okay, so that's an announcement. So you guys get to know when this is available. And let me check. All right, let's talk about stress. Yes. Can I ask you a favor? Can you type in the chat room a single word topic you need to understand for this year, 2026? You want to understand X. What is that one word? So I have a conversation earlier. He mentioned something about stress. I had to press him for this. Haha. If you experience stress in your day-to-day or in your work, there's only one thing you can do. And in the story of or my early conversation, his stress indicators was he was involuntarily itching somewhere in his body. I did, and then it's weird because he doesn't really itch. And then all of a sudden, because of his job, he was itching uncontrollably. In another instance, he was becoming dizzy to the point of calling it vertigo. So if something like a strange illness is happening to you or to the person you love, and the doctor say we can't see anything wrong, then that's this one. It's stress. Okay. So some insights about stress. So we can answer this. And number one would be if you are getting stressed out because of your work, your family, your relationships. It's obviously you cannot mentally handle the load. Number one, try to remember that you cannot handle it mentally. Number two, you are probably trying to carry the load alone. Number three, you are probably doing something naturally difficult. That's why you're feeling the stress. Naturally difficult. For example, you just set out for yourself, okay, I'm going to study master's degree online 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Then after 3 months of doing it, you're like stressed out. Why? It's because it's naturally hard. to study MBA at 1 a.m. Okay, so yes, you're doing it alone, but not, you have classmates, so you're not doing it alone. And obviously, you can't handle the stress because it's hard. It's just naturally hard. That's why if your body is already signaling to you, hey, you can't do this, you're itching in weird places, you're experiencing dizziness. So there are two other reasons why you might be experiencing it. The other reason is you might be doing the right thing and you have a preternatural force going against you. You know what that means? How many of you knows what a preternatural force? Yun yung kalaban ng supernatural force. The creatures with the horns. Yan. Okay? The enemy. Jesus calls them the enemy. Okay? So if there's a preternatural force going against you, when you're pursuing something difficult, you are really going to get stressed out. Got it? So how do you fix this? Do not carry it alone. Jomar, how do you carry it? So you don't carry it alone. Do you mean I find a confidant, a friend to share it with? Yes. Some ideas on who would be that friend to carry it with, whatever it is to go to the back of this book. You can also go to the internet. And then you look for the topics up here. It says, are you a musician trying to learn something in music? You pray to Santa Cecilia. Here's the prayer. Are you a student, or are you a mom and you're having such a hard time with your kids? Then you pray to Santa Monica, and the prayer is here. Does that mean you pray only once? No, you pray every day. If you want, you pray every hour. Okay? Talk to the saints who knows how to help you. You lost something. So what smart Catholics do is we call or invoke the saints. And saints are not just there for fun. They have topics that they're good at. Like Saint Camillus is for the sick. Okay? If you were just this poor, Saint Francis of Assisi, then this is the prayer. And then you go one step ahead, and then you read about the life of Saint Francis of Assisi. And then after reading, you read again or find another book on Saint Francis of Assisi. Get him as your friend to help you carry your stress in the topic that you have. That's why Catholics have patron saints. You get to know somebody who has already overcome that problem, and you'd be smart to study how he overcame the problem. That's how it works. Okay, and the saints, they have processes, they've done stuff that you would think it's crazy. Like, I give you an example. Saint Francis of Assisi, this one here, he did this 3 times when he was starting. I'm going to show you what he did, Saint Francis of Assisi, right? He took a Bible, he was the starting, and then he opened it randomly, and he pointed at it. Read that, he did it again, pointed at it. He did it again, pointed at it, and every time he would point, he would do what it said. This is called Bible cutting, popularized by St. Francis of Assisi. Now, a lot of people do this for fun, which is wrong. A lot of people ridicule this practice, which is wrong. Because when you do that, you follow what St. Francis did. He prayed to God first. God will open the book for him. So it's not, you would hear charismatics say, it's so funny. You open the Bible, it tells about the story of Judas who hanged himself, which is crazy because they don't know it came from St. Francis, the Bible cutting practice. See? Now you have a resource. It's from his life, St. Francis. Bible cutting. I'm not telling you to Bible cut. I'm telling you, if you read his story, you would know if he's crazy, nuts, or telling the truth. You carry the burden of whatever you're doing with the saints. So you have at least one advocate. The second advocate is your guardian angel, which the prayer is also found here. The guardian angel prayer, you probably memorized it if you're a Catholic. Angel of God, my guardian dear. It's also here. You pray that every day, if you want, every hour. So you invoke the help, call the help of your guardian angel, because this is a resource that we have as Catholic. Final word is, you have a mother who loves you so much. What are you going to do about it? And this is what he said in St. Gregory's book. You have a mother who loves you so much. Do something about it. You know why they call her Mary, help of Christians? Because she is the help of Christians. So ask for her help. The nonsense of all this is when somebody tells you the biblical version. Let us just go straight to Jesus. Really. Go find that in the Bible. You should only pray to me, Jesus. You won't find it. It says pray for one another in the Bible. Pray for one another. So they technically say, okay, my friend can pray for me because she's alive. Mary's dead, therefore she can't pray for me. In our definition of life, saints, especially the mom of Jesus, is not dead. She's alive. She's alive with heaven, in heaven with God and Jesus. If you claim she's dead, then we can also claim that Jesus is also dead, and all the other saints are dead, including Saint Paul, which means you just cut off all your lifeline to heaven and just left with Jesus. It's also fine, actually, if you want to be poor, spiritually destitute, not even poor, meaning you have all the resources, you just got rid of all of them except Jesus, which is fine if you want to be a Protestant, somebody who complains about the Catholic Church. If you want to be a Christian, like Jesus, who loves the mom so much, you're going to be asking help from the mom a lot, because this is what Jesus did when he was very young. And let me guess, you are also very young in the Catholic life, the Christian life. Yes, imitate Christ, because he followed Jesus. Jesus followed Joseph and Mary at his first 30 years. Am I right? We're assuming, of course, Joseph died some time after, but he was obedient to his parents. 10 commandments, sorry. And if he needed something, he'd ask for help from both the parents. Okay? So anyway, theology of Marian help, Mary help of Christians is there for you. The books are out there. Stop watching shows. Start studying this. You don't have time. You don't have a lot of time to study this stuff. You do have the resource because you don't pay anything to read the Catholic books. They're all on the internet. They're all free. They're very old. That's why they're free. 100 plus years old. Even the Catholic Catechism is free. It's in Vatican's website. They're all free. You don't have to pay your subscription to learn anything. Right? Though I do invite you to join, go get this one later when it's available. So you can ride up to June 2026, 6 months of training about grace and about online earnings to prepare your family and yourself and your spouse for online earnings for the next 6 months. All right? So it comes with the prayer book, and we will be looking and reading the prayer book and using it in these 6 months. All right? That is all I got. Thank you so much for those people who commented and emojis, especially Dennis, Kay, John, and Zane. For the rest of you, I'm not finished, but I need to go because it's 9:30. There's a lot of topics, so next week, and maybe sometime this week, I'll talk about the following topics, which is, what is this? Oh yeah, you want a high-paying job, a high-paying role, because you want to do it for the needs of your kids, the needs of your family, so you won't have savings. What are the requirements to get started? So I'm going to talk about that in the next one, maybe on Friday night. All right. Let me know in the chat or the comments if you want to happen on Friday night, or you want it to happen on Monday night. Okay. This is the next topic. Plus also the topic I mentioned, which was AI is going to they're trying to get rid of your jobs. What are you going to do about it? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Sir Ephraim. Thank you, John. God bless everyone. Ask you guys to bring a friend next time, especially a Catholic friend. And I will be interviewing somebody who has an incredible story about trying to leave the Catholic faith. It's amazing. She hasn't said yes yet, but she just told me she was trying to leave it, and then she decided not to leave it, which is awesome. So that's so exciting. Hope to get that interview up so you can hear it. A lot of treasures are out there available to us. We just didn't know it was available. Okay? So thank you so much. God bless. Please go visit jomar.club if you're paying attention to this and you don't know where to get more information. Jomar.club, and subscribe to my email. That's it. God bless and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you, Neil. Friday night. Got it. See you guys Friday night for our lesson on how to get started in getting a high value job, high value, high income something. God bless. Happy New Year. And please don't forget, still celebrate Christmas because it's still Christmas. Technically, it wasn't September. It's still Christmas today. Merry Christmas. Ito ang aking website. Subscribe.